Well, there's no other way to get around this. The Titans officially are not a good football team. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Titans Rundown. I am your host, Micah McCamey, and man, this team is trying to take every bit of life that they can out of me. But they ain't gonna kill me. No, trust me on that, okay? I'm still happy and I'm still trying to stay positive. And we still gotta think about this. Even though there's a lot of pain right now, there is light at the end of this tunnel, okay? I just want y'all to know that. So, and I also don't let myself get too down on football because it's football. You know, I have a life outside of football. I have people that I love and I have people that I enjoy. So I just, I really don't think that it's as big of a deal as some people think it is whenever somebody loses a football game. Just don't think so. So, week 4 may have been one of the most painful weeks to watch in Titans history. Now, 20-17 is not a bad final score, especially considering the fact that we were up most of the game. But it was painful to watch as the Colts slowly just crawled back, barely making it. Like, it was just ridiculous, honestly. And now that the Titans have lost, I'm recording this on a Monday, and I have no clue what's going to happen with the Jets, but if they win their football game, I'm going to have to change my profile pic to Todd Downing. And by the time that you're watching this, it may have already changed to Todd Downing. Not for the podcast listeners, that still stays, but for like YouTube listeners, for Instagram people, Twitter, wherever you get my content, my profile pic may have changed by the time that I am done with this episode. But anyway, so we got to move on and we got to talk about the actual game itself. First off, let's start with the positives. The rookies were pretty good. Like, J.C. Latham continues to be that guy. Leatu Latu was considered one of the better edges in this entire draft. He was drafted as the best edge, and everybody thought that he was just going to explode, which he did for most of the time. But then you watched him play against J.C. Latham, and J.C. Latham moved that man, dude. Like, I don't even know how else to say it, And honestly, I'm really excited to watch him be the Titans' left tackle for the next few years. He is a great pass blocker. He's an even better run blocker. And that will probably be one of the picks that if the Carthen and Callahan era flops, then it will be one of the picks that we look at and we're just like, yeah, that was one thing that they got right. Also, T'Vondre Sweat still continuing to make a difference. I'm not sure if y'all saw Tic Tac officially apologized to T'Vondre Sweat. Long overdue, quite honestly. I think he should have retired. He should have not retired. Sorry, apologized a little bit earlier. Not because of the fact that we didn't know if he was going to be good or bad, and he could have very well ended up being really bad. But it's because of how aggressively he treated that dude. Like, he did not give him any benefit of the doubt. Like, he was literally handpicking specific clips. Like, look at this, he's pushing somebody down, but that's still, he doesn't look like he's given enough effort. Like, my gosh, dude, like, he was so annoying. But I do appreciate that he manned up and decided, hey, I'm going to apologize for something I was completely wrong on, and I was loudly wrong on. So I appreciate that. But anyway, T'Vondre Sweat played an awesome game. He is the best defensive player on that defense right now, potentially. I mean, we'll get to the other one here in just a few seconds. But still, overall, great game by T'Vondre Sweat. And then, my man, Jarvis Brownlee Jr. Whoa. I was not expecting that game to come out of him. If it wasn't for one crappy illegal contact call, dude, he would have had an interception and he would have had pass breakup on pass breakup. He had a really good football game. Like, that's all that you really need to know. Like, he had multiple pass breakups, he kept on hustling, and he had a PFF grade of, I believe, which is really hard to get, especially whenever you were a 4th-round rookie. One of the biggest steals that Rand Carthen has done in his entire draft process. Okay, also, before we move on to the next positive, can we talk about something? Why on earth are people putting Carthen on the hot seat? Like, I understand why you're putting Callahan, like, warmer but not completely hot, but still like a warmer seat than somebody else. Like he's not safe or anything. But Rand Carthen, I know that he hired him. Don't get me wrong, that was a mistake. But here's the thing. There have been GMs that have made way more offensive hires and have still made it through because they showed promise. Except for the Jags, weirdly enough. Like, Jags hired Urban Meyer. Trent Baalke kept his job. Then, this was a better example of this. Nathaniel Hackett was hired as the Broncos head coach. George Patton kept his job. And honestly, I think that dude's a low-key underrated GM. He's done everything that he can to help the team win. He traded for Russell Wilson before everybody realized that Russell Wilson was really bad. But even then, he ended up having a decent season for them the next year. But, like, he hired Sean Payton. Bo Nix is looking pretty decent. Like, I think that they're going to be okay. But anyway, like, Rand Carthen is a very good GM. Just look at his draft history. That's all you need to know, okay? I know Will Levis is probably a bust, but, like, take a look at the rest of that draft class. Skronsky, I know that he's had some bad games this year, but he is so close to being great that it's honestly kind of insane. There's that. Then he also drafted Tajay Spears. Awesome pick. I don't think anybody will disagree with you that he and Pollard are going to be a nasty duo for the next few years or however much longer Tony Pollard stays with us. Then there's also Josh Wiley stealing that draft. Like, he's been at least a decent contributor. He hasn't been amazing or anything, but he's been okay. And then you take a look at his most recent class. I mean, I just mentioned all three of them. Tavondre Sweat is awesome. J.C. Latham is really awesome. And Jarvis Brownlee Jr. is probably going to develop into a very, very good cornerback. So just saying, like, I think that people criticizing Carthen are completely out of line. That's all that there is to it. Okay, moving on. The defensive line. Okay, so these guys have been playing very consistent all the way since, like, I don't know, ever since from Vrabel to year one, from the first year of Vrabel to the first year of Cali, they've just been solid and consistent. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just apparently whenever you go to the Titans, you end up becoming a great D-line. Don't let the national media tell you otherwise, because they'll tell you about how the Titans have a receiver graveyard, but they won't tell you that the Titans are also one of the best defensive line locations. Like, I feel like that I can name you a lot of defensive linemen that have been great here, but we would go for a little bit too long on that. Anyway, the D-line was really solid. Big Jeff had some decent moments. I mean, he wasn't like anything special, but he still is pretty good. But that's not what we're expecting from him. I know that, but still, I really am hopeful that he starts picking it up, because once he starts picking it up, Tavondre Sweat's already picked it up. Those two on the same defensive line is a living nightmare for any quarterback and for any offensive line. Like, it is kind of insane what they could end up doing if they start clicking, you know? But anyway, still, I don't have that much else to say about the D-line. They just played a good game, except for Arden Key. Arden Key needs to be replaced, like, ASAP. We need to get him in, like, we need to get him back into, like, a rotational role, and we got to get somebody else to play on that edge. But anyway, next thing is the run game. Tony Pollard, Tajay Spears stay as consistent as ever. Tony Pollard had a really good game, had a really nice rushing touchdown. I'll show it on screen right now, but had a really nice rushing touchdown against the Colts this week on a halfback draw. It was like a give-up thing. It was 4th and 17, and he just took it all the way. And he kind of slipped off a couple of people from what I remember, but still, great run by him. Tajay still fighting for yards as much as he can. Overall, great game by the running backs, and they are the least to blame for the offensive woes. And the next one, this one shocked me, honestly, but the O-line played pretty decently this week from what I can remember. Like, Leroy Watson obviously is not going to be a starter or starting caliber, but he's better than MPF, and it was kind of obvious during that game, at least in my opinion. Like, look, the thing is, the Titans' O-line was just like one meh right tackle away from at least being a solid O-line. And I think that they looked pretty good this week. And I know that that's probably going to cause some controversy or something like that. And people are going to be upset at me for even crediting this O-line for 2 seconds outside of J.C. Latham. But I think they played pretty well. Cushenberry never gets talked about, but he has been still just as solid as he usually is. And Skronsky is still developing and starting to look more and more like that beast that we expected him to be coming out of college. And Radens is just kind of there. Same thing with Leroy Watson. But still, overall, not a bad game by the O-line, at least compared to what they've done the past couple of weeks. Negatives. Let's start out with this. L'Jarius Sneed. Dude, I was so excited whenever we traded for the L'Jarius Sneed. Y'all can see it in like one of my previous episodes. If I can find the clip, I will show you it. Breaking news out of the NFL. L'Jarius Sneed is a Tennessee Titan. What's good, y'all? Welcome back to the Titans Rundown. I am your host, Micah McCamey. I was so excited to see this dude rocking that two-tone blue. I thought the secondary was going to be awesome because of him. And he looked pretty good through the first few games, but he has absolutely crapped the bed recently. Like, he has been really, really bad. At least in the Colts game, specifically. Like, here's the thing. I still think L'Jarius Sneed is fine, and I think that people are exaggerating of, like, he was a system cornerback and stuff. Like, I think he just had one bad game. I think he'll be back to his normal self next week. But still, it is something that is a little bit concerning, especially considering that whenever you take a look back at some of the things, there are a couple of deep balls that, you know, he was covering that were just overthrown. He even had some of those in this game. Like, it was pretty bad. But next thing, Will Levis. Yeah, y'all were expecting this. He's just kind of becoming a norm in the negative section. Like, I don't think there has been one time that Will Levis has not been in the negatives. But anyway, his stats were 16 of 27. He had one touchdown and one pick. He didn't even throw for 100 yards. I just want to put that on for context. I'll tell you this, I don't think Callie trusts Levis. I don't think that he likes him being his quarterback. And I think that he didn't get what he expected from him this year, honestly. I think that he was expecting to come in, get this young quarterback that has a strong arm, and that he was just going to figure things out. But here's the thing. He's not a good fit for the system. He was never really that great in the first place. Combine those two together, and it's just a recipe for disaster. I'm sorry. I could see him going somewhere else and flourishing, having a nice little redemption arc, like, somewhere with a more vertical offense. Maybe he is under Aaron Rodgers for a couple of years with the Jets, and then once he either retires or is forced out of New York, then maybe he could learn there and then hopefully develop into something, because it's there. There's the arm strength. It's just that he's just really dumb. He's got bad footwork. Not really dumb, as in he makes dumb decisions. He's got bad footwork, and he just isn't an offense that really suits to his strengths. That's really all that there is to say about him. So I think he could be fine somewhere else, but he's not going to do anything here. And I'll tell you who I think could do something here later on, but we'll get back to that. Anyway, next thing. Okay, so I've been easier on the play calling over the past few weeks because, Levis has been meh. We scored 30 finally. I know that the Dolphins defense isn't all that impressive, especially with all the injuries, but they're still at least halfway decent, it's not like that actually, wait, hold on. I take that back. What I mean is that we have played against some really horrible defenses over the past couple of years with the Downing and the Kelly and all that stuff. But the difference was that those guys could not score 30 on them because either they would play it too conservative or something like that. So him, getting 30, and overall, I thought that he had been an okay play caller this year that just doesn't trust Levis. But yesterday, as of the time this is being recorded, man, worst play calling I've seen from Downing so far. By far. Not even close. I don't know what he was thinking at all. It was really bad, okay? I'm not even going to sell y'all short of that. And I've been defensive of him, but Yesterday was no excuse. He's getting all the hate that he deserves on like Twitter, Instagram, all those places. At least right now. I don't think it was warranted the past couple of weeks, but it was definitely warranted this week. So, anyway, moving on. Receiver core. Okay, here's the thing. Okay, this is not completely on them. Levis being a bad quarterback, Callahan calling weird plays every now and again. Like, that's definitely a big factor into this. Don't get me wrong. But D-Hop didn't really do that much. Burks had like one catch but got hurt immediately. NWI had a good catch for a touchdown. Who else was there in the receiver corps? Oh, yeah, Tyler Boyd still hasn't been doing too much. And Calvin Ridley. Look, I think that he was actually open for a pretty decent amount of the game, and Levis was targeting him. It's just that he was throwing really bad balls in his direction. Like, it was pretty sad to watch. Whenever you look back at the film, it'll show you that he had 9 targets and like 2 of them were catchable at most. Like, it is absolutely ridiculous that, he had that type of game. There should be no excuse for that. But there also shouldn't be an excuse for Ridley being so mad in the locker room after the game. Like, you cannot go in there and explode. And bad move by Callahan for congratulating him, basically, by saying, man, I love his fire for the game, man. Like, here's the thing. A teammate is okay to say that. An offensive coordinator, which you were for a little bit, is okay to say that. A head coach does not say that under any circumstances. He talks about how it was out of line and we're going to, take away reps from him or something. Like, nobody actually says, yeah, no, he's really got a fire for the game. Like, that's ridiculous. Okay, gosh. Okay, here we go. The last negative, kind of a negative, but also a positive. I should have probably put this in neutral, and I will say that this is the neutral. But the mock drafts are already here. Now, it's a bad thing because the team is so bad, but it's also a redeeming thing because, well, we don't really have that much to look forward to right now. Titans are probably going to be pretty bad this year, so why not take a look at some of the QBs that are available? I'm sure that they're really great, right? Throw up the picture of the QBs in this draft. Nobody's really, off the wall insane, but I don't think that there are that many bad quarterbacks in this class like some people say, but golly, this class could be a lot better. And especially, how is it that the year that we finally need a quarterback, or the year that we're finally tanking for a quarterback, is the year that no good quarterbacks are available? Look, there are only 2 that I would even consider drafting, Cam Ward and Shadur Sanders. That's really it. Jalen Milroe is just really weird and inconsistent, and he has weird throwing mechanics, so I don't think that he's going to be that great. Carson Beck is a game manager in college. Imagine what he's going to be in the NFL. Quinn Ewers, look, I like Quinn, right? But I think he is way, way too injury prone. That's just my opinion, though. But, here's the thing. If Quinn Ewers wasn't as injury prone as he was, I would gladly say, yes, let's take a shot at Ewers. He's got a strong arm. He's good with timing. But he's just, golly, he's just so injury prone. Again, I keep on saying that. But anyway, last thing, and this isn't in the negatives. This is a whole different segment. The QB stuff. Look, I know that this is a controversial opinion, but give Rudolph one game. That's all I want. Just a full game of Mason Rudolph. I want to see what would happen if he was in the game for a full period of time. And here's the thing. If the Titans still lose and the offense still doesn't look that great, then whatever. That's fine. Just let me know if we would have something in Rudolph. I'm just curious. I want to see what that offense looks like. Now, I think it won't go too well, and that's why I'm okay with starting him because he would probably go in there, he may lose, and if he does lose, then that means that we put Levis back in and the tank's back on because here's the thing. Mason Rudolph is probably better than Levis is right now. Let's be real. Him being in the game risks too much of us getting a win because of him. So I would personally just keep Levis in there if the offense doesn't look all that great, even with him at the helm. Golly. I know I'm going to get cooked for that, all over the place, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on YouTube, Instagram. Heck, I don't even have Snapchat, but I could get cooked on there for that. But still, just one game. That's all I'm asking for. I don't even care what else you do for the rest of the season, just one game, okay? Anyway, if he is a game manager, though, you got to keep the tank alive. And whenever I say Rudolph's got to be good, I mean he's got to be good. He's got to go out there and, be what Will Levis was in his first game consistently. He's got to be really good for us to not be like, okay, let's go get a quarterback. If he is just a game manager that throws one, maybe two touchdowns a game, throws for 150 to 200, may have the rare 300-yard game, don't keep him in. Keep Levis in and let the tank live on, okay? So, anyway, I want to close this off on this message to the good people of the Titans community. Don't give up on Callie yet. I know it's really hard right now watching him make iffy play call after iffy play call. People are comparing him to Nathaniel Hackett, which is stupid because Nathaniel Hackett at least had a veteran quarterback that was proven and somehow still ruined that offense. And also was so bad that Todd Downing got promoted over him. Think about that. Think about how bad you have to be for Todd Downing to take over play calling duties because of your incompetency. An already incompetent play caller, but you get replaced by someone who is not more incompetent, but just less incompetent, but still bad. Look, the truth is, Callie, he is stuck between a rock and a hard place right now. Levis is not a good quarterback. I think that we can finally come to that agreement. Will Levis isn't good, and the offense just isn't going to be clicking with him. We know that. But there's hope at the end of this tunnel. If we go get a Shadur or a Quinn Ewers or a Cam Ward, or even just get a veteran that can quickly fire out passes, if we can just get somebody just that can do that, that's it, then we'll be okay. I promise you that Callie just looks like a bad play caller right now because he doesn't have a good quarterback. Remember, people said Matt LaFleur was a bad play caller when he was with us, even though he had Mariota, who is actually probably better than Levis was. Overall, I just want to say, do not count out Callie. I know it's tough right now, but I promise you that there is light at the end of this tunnel. And I do genuinely believe that he will be the guy going forward. Now, I could be completely wrong about this, but that's just my opinion. And whenever you're in this business, you're probably going to get more wrong than you get right. So just want to put that out there. Anyway, that's today's episode. Man, a little bit of a sad episode, but, I promise you that there is something good at the end of this tunnel. I promise you that we will be good again. Maybe not soon, but we will come back and be solid. I promise you that. Okay, and whenever we do, you're going to respect these bad years so much more. You're going to respect Vrabel's conservativeness. And if Callie ends up being bad, you're going to respect the fact that Callie was so bad. You're going to respect, maybe not them, but you're going to respect yourselves for getting through those dark years. I promise you, it's going to happen someday. All right? Look at the Bengals, right? They were dead in the water as an organization, and now they look like that they may be one of the better teams in the NFL. I know that their record doesn't say otherwise, but they're still going to be fine, especially with Joe Burrow at quarterback. All it takes is one guy. That's all it takes, one quarterback to just completely turn your franchise around. And I think that we could be getting that sometime soon. But anyway, that's today's episode. I have Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok all under the Titans Rundown if y'all want to go check those out. But anyway, that's going to do it all for me. This has been a rundown of your Tennessee Titans. I love y'all, and tighten up.